Picture this. Right now, there are over 8 billion people on this planet. We're all waking up, grabbing our morning coffee, heading to work, stressing about finances, or, just worrying about what tomorrow's going to bring. And every single one of us goes through the day fundamentally convinced that our life, our specific perspective, is basically the center of the universe. And honestly, in our day-to-day reality, we're kind of right. But what if the absolute most important thing you're doing in this lifetime is something you're completely unaware of? Over the course of this explainer, we're going to explore a concept that will completely flip your perspective on your place in the universe. So, let me ask you something directly. Who are you? And I don't mean your name or your job title or what you've got in your social media bio. I mean, what is your life actually about? Is it just your relationships, your family, that small circle of people you love and interact with? Because if that's the entire answer, if that's the whole shebang, then the universe is a profoundly strange place to have put you. Just think about it for a second. You are sitting right now in the middle of 800 trillion kilometers of completely empty space. There are literally billions of stars, entire planets that haven't even been named, and time stretching so far in both directions that all of human history is less than a microscopic blink. And against all of that staggering vastness, we're sitting there worried about rent or a weird text message we got at midnight. It can make you feel incredibly, overwhelmingly small. Okay, but let's dive into this. Here is a completely counterintuitive thought. What if that smallness is the entire point? What if it's specifically because you are limited and individual and small that something utterly extraordinary becomes possible? As you'll see, what we are about to look at is one of the most mind-bending ideas in all of science and philosophy. It's a cosmic secret that once you really grasp it, will permanently change the way you see yourself and literally everyone around you. That secret is called emergence. By definition, emergence occurs when a complex entity has properties or behaviors that its parts absolutely do not have on their own. Those properties only appear when those parts interact together. Think about the exact device you're using to watch this explainer right now. You tap the screen, a signal travels at near light speed, hits a processor, runs millions of calculations, and boom, a video plays. But to really understand emergence, we have to look much, much deeper inside that device. Inside your device's processor, there are transistors. Let's look at just one of them. A single transistor, which was invented back in 1947 to replace those clunky vacuum tubes, is almost laughably simple. It literally does exactly one thing. It controls the flow of electricity. It turns it on, or it turns it off, a 1 or a 0. That is the entire job description of a transistor. When engineers at Bell Labs first looked at this tiny thing, they definitely didn't think, oh wow, this is going to write novels or compose symphonies or instantly connect a kid in Kenya face-to-face with someone in Tokyo. A transistor just controls electricity. That's literally all it knows. Now, let's see how this scales. Take that one simple transistor and multiply it. Take 1 billion of them. Arrange them with absolute precision, and connect them in exactly the right pattern. Suddenly, you don't just have 1 billion tiny switches controlling electricity anymore, you have a mind. You have a system capable of rendering complex 3D graphics, running artificial intelligence, and instantly translating languages. So the absolutely crucial point here is this distinction between the parts and the whole. That is emergence in action. Something that could not possibly exist at the level of the individual parts suddenly appears at the level of the whole. Actually, scratch that. Think of it like this. One single transistor is just on or off. But 1 billion of them, properly connected, that's intelligence. Or biology. One biological neuron is just a tiny pulse of an electrical signal. But billions of them connected, that creates consciousness itself. And this isn't just about technology either. It's practically nature's ultimate operating system. Have you ever seen a starling murmuration? It's when thousands of birds fly together, twisting, spiraling, and shapeshifting like a giant living liquid in the sky. It looks entirely choreographed, as if some unseen maestro is up there conducting them. But there is no conductor. Instead, every single bird is just following 3 incredibly simple rules. 1, stay close to your neighbors. 2, don't crash into them. And 3, match their direction. That's it. No plan, no map, no leader. Just those 3 simple rules creating something that looks almost supernatural. We see this exact same pattern scaling up with ants. An individual ant is, frankly, not that impressive. I mean, its brain has roughly 250,000 neurons, and it mostly just follows chemical pheromone trails. It can't plan or reason or imagine. But put 1 million of them together in a colony?
Suddenly, they're building towering structures with perfect climate-controlled ventilation. They wage coordinated wars. They even solve what's called the shortest path problem to find food. That's a complex mathematical routing problem that literally took human mathematicians centuries to crack. And these guys are doing it with no brains, just pheromones. Researchers have even found that the intelligence of an ant colony scales with its size. Larger colonies make smarter, more patient decisions, not because any single ant got smarter, but because of emergence. Simple individual, simple rules, profound collective intelligence. And this perfectly connects the micro to the macro. The whole becomes something the parts alone just cannot explain. Whether we're looking at schools of fish moving in perfect unison, starlings dancing in the sky, or ants building complex underground cities, the individual is incredibly small, but when they're connected together, they form an entirely different, incredibly intelligent entity. Now, let's look at the deepest, most profound, and most personal example of emergence that we know of: you. Right now, exactly as you're processing my words, there are about 86 billion tiny biological switches, your neurons, firing inside your brain. No single one of those neurons understands the English language. No single neuron knows what your favorite song sounds like. No single neuron has ever felt love or heartbreak or wonder. But woven together in a pattern of almost unimaginable complexity, they produce the feeling of being alive. The really wild realization here is that you are not a ghost sitting inside a machine pulling levers. You are the pattern. Your entire consciousness is an emergent property, and this principle happens at every single layer of reality. Biology is an emergent property of chemistry. Chemistry is an emergent property of physics. Consciousness emerges from biology. And as we'll see, it doesn't stop there. It goes all the way up. Let's zoom out to the level of humanity. Think about the internet. Nobody sat down and meticulously designed what the internet has become today. Engineers built basic protocols. Individuals opened browsers. People clicked links and wrote posts. Billions of self-interested, entirely uncoordinated individual actions just happened, and from that chaos emerged a planetary nervous system. Look at Wikipedia. Over 60 million articles, forming a living record of human knowledge. There's no master editor-in-chief planning the whole thing out. Just individuals following simple rules. Be accurate. Cite sources, and boom, a global repository of knowledge emerges. So what is the single, humble binding force behind all of this? Behind the stunning starling murmuration, the genius ant colony, your conscious brain, and these massive global movements on the internet? It isn't complexity. It isn't inherent individual intelligence. It is simply connection. Each starling connects to the bird right beside it. Each neuron connects to the one next to it. You connect to a friend, or you leave a comment online that a total stranger reads at 3 a.m. From that persistent reaching toward each other, something totally new appears. Almost a century ago, a philosopher and scientist named Pierre Teilhard de Chardin proposed this fascinating idea called the noosphere. He suggested that just as biology forms a sphere of life over the Earth, human connection was forming a sphere of mind, a planetary consciousness growing directly from the connections between human beings. Back then, it probably sounded like pure mysticism. But today, looking at our hyper-connected internet, global collective intelligence, and AI models trained on human thought, it sounds like an incredibly brilliant foresight of exactly what we are living inside right now. This brings us to a deeply honest and kind of challenging point. Knowing this doesn't mean your individual life, your struggles, or your unique personality don't matter. The ant matters to the colony. The specific, irreplaceable bird makes the murmuration possible. Your unique life deeply matters, but emergence challenges us to look beyond just asking, what is my life about? And start asking, what are we becoming? What are 8 billion connected human lives unknowingly building together? What is the shape of the thing we are producing right now? Emergence is without a doubt the universe's most extraordinary secret. It's this beautiful, awe-inspiring mechanism by which cold, indifferent, unconscious matter eventually produced a being, you, capable of sitting here and wondering about its own existence. You are not separate from the universe. You literally are the universe, at a specific level of complexity, becoming aware of itself. So the next time you feel small, the next time you look up at the night sky and wonder if any of your individual choices actually matter, I want you to remember the transistor. Remember the starling. Remember the 86 billion neurons in your own head. Because you're not just a person standing alone in the void. You are a profound, deeply connected pattern, producing something that could not exist without you. If you are part of a massive, emergent, global consciousness that hasn't even been fully named yet, what do you think it's going to do next?